Daniel, let's take you back to 2016. What are your memories of the game against Wales and that winning goal?
I mean, it was a intense lead up to the game. Obviously, we needed a result because I think we had drew with Russia the game before. So, it was a big game for us, and I remember us losing and thinking, like we got to get this figured out. And then, came on, I think the first goal was Vardy, I think it was. And then I think it was the last few minutes of the game. And I remember playing the game as well and like taking some wild shots as well. Like shots from like 45 yards and all types of stuff, just forcing it. And then in the last sort of, few minutes of the game, I remember picking the ball up at the edge of the box and doing a little 1-2 with Delhi and put the ball in the back of the net. And it was a great feeling, great moment for the team. And I remember the celebration as just being great.
To score in such a big game on such a big stage, how was that experience?
I mean, it was amazing. And I think as a player, when you're there, you don't quite see what it does for the fans back home and, how they react to the goal. You just see what's in the stadium and the feeling and the jubilation between you and your teammates. But to see the impact it had back home, I'm seeing beers flying and all types of things. It was, a surreal moment for myself at the time, and I suppose for the team as well, because we needed the result. So it was a good moment.
So the two sides meet again in the World Cup. You played against Wales in a major tournament. What kind of game do you expect?
A spicy affair. I think it's going to be. It's a huge game for Wales, obviously. They need a result more than us. And I think it will be close. I don't anticipate that we'll blitz them. I think we will dominate the game though, and I do think that we have enough quality to win the game. The amount of talent the squad has now in both ends of the field and the midfield as well. Goalkeepers playing well. I think the squad's good enough to get a result for us, and I'm excited to see how the boys play.
The Wales players celebrated when England got knocked out in 2016. Will the England boys remember that, and will they use it as a motivation?
I mean, as a ex-England player, I'd say the Wales players, they should worry about what they have to worry about, and the England players control what they can control. But I think there's no love lost at the end of the day. There's going to be players within both camps who are going to remember those moments, and there's going to be fresh talent as well that weren't involved at all, and they're looking at this as a new challenge. So it's a huge game for both countries. Obviously, I'm going with England, of course, and I think we're going to win the game. I think we're going to play some good football, and I think because of the last result, maybe people are wondering how we're going to play. But I think in the last game, we played against very good opposition. And I think this game will be very different for us. And I think we will show our qualities.
Kane, Sterling and Saka started the first two games. How important is it for England that those front three are in form?
I mean, they're huge. Saka, unbelievable talent, skillful, exciting, very aggressive in his attack. You've got Raheem, who's very experienced as well for his age, always gets himself in the right positions to score goals. And then you've got Harry Kane, who's a goal machine, and gets a lot of assists as well. His hold-up play is very good. So those guys, along with the likes of Foden, who's, I don't think he's played yet, but I'm sure as the competition goes along, he will get minutes because he's one of the most exciting players we've seen in the country. And, the Grealishes and the Rashfords, there's so many players to name. Callum Wilson, I don't want to miss him out, and anyone else I've forgotten. I think our squad right now is amazing, and we do have an embarrassment of riches, really, probably for the first time in a long time. We've got so many players playing at a high level and for their clubs, and they're all challenging for titles as well. So that mentality is important for success.
There's a lot of talk at the moment about Phil Foden. Would he be in your side? Can he play a part in this tournament?
I mean, I love him as a player, and I think everyone will agree that he's a top talent and he's going to go on to do amazing things. I don't think we've seen many players with the abilities he has and how versatile he is. But at the same time, we've got to trust Gareth as well, because, you know, Gareth has got us to be in a position where we're competing, really, like seriously competing, and we've got to a final, we've got to a semi-final. And I think it is a bit harsh for everyone to, you know, criticize his decisions at the same time. Of course, I think most people would say Foden would be in the team, but we don't know how that goes with the chemistry and the fact the team's been playing the same formation for a while, and, you know, different players in different positions and how the chemistry looks. We don't know that as people that aren't in the camp. So we just have to respect what Gareth's doing, and I'm sure Foden will you know, get his time, because he's too good of a player not to get his chance.
Jordan Henderson came off the bench against the USA. He brought energy to the performance. Give us an insight into his character, and how important will his influence be in the England squad?
Just a top player, top man, great banter, works very hard. In training, you know, he's always going 100%, and the same in the games. He works tirelessly for the attackers, makes the attackers' jobs easier and helps the defence. Positionally, he's always good. And as you say, from a leadership perspective, he's always going to make people feel good about themselves. He's going to, you know, have conversations and wants to help as much as he can. If he's not playing, he's going to want the next man to do well, and he's going to work his socks off to get his minutes. So I think he's an integral part of the squad, as you see with the success of Liverpool over the last, you know, few years as well. He's been an integral part of that. So he's always a player that I'll always love, and I consider him a friend, and I'll always have good things to say.
Let's talk about your specialised subject then. Who are the strikers that have really stood out for you in this tournament, and who do you think will win the Golden Boot?
I mean, I don't know if you saw on my Instagram me singing the Kylian Mbappe song, but I think Mbappe, for me, I think will win the Golden Boot. I just think he's a special player. Just his abilities, the runs he makes. He's always shooting as well, which is important. You know, people don't probably look at that stat as much, but the more shots you take, the more, you know, goals you score. And I think he gets himself in positions to score goals. He creates his own goals as well. And that's probably why I'd say Kili. Mbappe, 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 oh. That's what we say. But I think he's a special player, though, you know, and there are a few other players in there. Obviously, you know, England have the likes of Kane, who at any moment could detonate. Sterling's playing well, Saka's playing well. There's a lot of players, really, but I think Mbappe is the one that stands out for me the most.
Can England go all the way then and win this tournament?
Absolutely. I think this competition is probably a lot closer. I think the level of football right now, when you look at the countries who have won games against opposition that people would consider them to beat, when you look at that, you've got to say, okay, you've got the USA who are playing against England, who actually performed very well, and people would have thought maybe 4 to 8 years ago they have absolutely no chance. But, you know, they gave England the hardest game they've had for a long time. And I think you got Saudi Arabia getting a win against Argentina, which was a huge surprise. So there's been upsets everywhere. So for me, I think England have an amazing squad. We have a chance of winning it. I wouldn't want, you know, the fans or the press or the players to heap pressure on themselves. I just think it's about everyone letting it run its course. Don't add in too much expectation, is what I'm saying, because I think the expectation is what makes the pressure, you know, mount. But if we just take this game by game, I think, and not analyze the results too much in the group stage, we got a draw against USA and we're not playing well and all this stuff, I think it's all irrelevant, because as the competition goes on, it's about peaking towards the end and not playing your best football in the group stages, and then come later on, you know, things aren't going as you want them to. So facing those challenges against the likes of USA is going to help the team to learn. It's going to help the squad to face diversity and come out on the other side. So I think we have a great chance, as long as we keep doing what we're doing and the players are continuing to buy into the process. We have a great chance of winning it.